WWE's version of ECW proved to be a complete dud, with fans of the original ECW disgusted by WWE's revamp and new fans laughing at the sheer stupidity of booking. The only saving grace was the revival introduced the fans to new superstars such as CM Punk and some of the names we're about to see. Unfortunately, some of them disappeared just as quickly as WWE's version of ECW. In this video, we're going to look at WWE ECW Revival Wrestlers only, and where they are in 2018. Number 1. Elijah Burke. When the WWE revived ECW, they brought back ECW Originals, but they also used the new programming to introduce new stars to do battle with them. Some of these stars formed a group known as the New Breed, a faction dedicated to upstaging the ECW Originals. With newcomer Elijah Burke leading the group, they engaged in weekly battles with ECW Originals such as Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, and the Sandman. With Vince McMahon labeling Burke the future of ECW, the former boxer had his work cut out for him. Sadly for Burke, the future of ECW was future endeavored in 2008. He travelled the indie circuit and also appeared in TNA as D'Angelo De Niro, and later The Pope, serving as a colour commentator and wrestler. He left TNA in late 2017. Luckily, in 2011, he graduated with a degree in criminal justice, giving him a backup plan should he decide to leave wrestling. Number 2. Sylvester Terkay. Sylvester Terkay wrestled for North Carolina State University, where he met future WWE superstar and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, wrestling Angle in the NCAA Division I heavyweight tournament and losing to Angle. After training with Rick Baseman, famous for training Sting, The Ultimate Warrior and John Cena, Terkay was picked up by the WWF, only to be released from his developmental deal. After building his reputation in Japan's 01 promotion and in MMA, he was signed again by the WWE. There, Terkay used his MMA background as part of his character, debuting on SmackDown before heading to ECW. With Elijah Burke's boxing background and Terkay's MMA background, they formed a team known as the Knockout Tap-Out Connection. Unfortunately for Terkay, he was released from the WWE less than a year after his main roster debut. Terkay would head back to Japan, working in Inoki Federation and Pro Wrestling 01. He also dabbled in Tinseltown, starring in a number of films including True Legend, Extreme Rising, and Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies. When last heard from, Sylvester is living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he works as a full-time car salesman. Number 3. Marcus Corvan. All-American college linebacker Monty Brown moved to the pro ranks, playing as a linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, and later signing with the New England Patriots until an ankle injury ended his gridiron game prematurely. Afterwards, Brown trained with Dan Severn and Sabu to become a professional wrestler, a career path taken by many football players. His athleticism and charisma saw him signed to NWA TNA, where he became a frequent contender for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. His colourful promos and cat-themed character made him entertaining whether he worked as a heel or face, so fans were eager to see how he would fare when he signed with the WWE in 2006. Rechristened Marcus Corvan, he appeared on ECW, working along other members of the New Breed dedicated to usurping ECW Originals. Unfortunately, Brown left the WWE under mysterious circumstances, with fans only hearing it was due to family issues. Ultimately, it was revealed that Brown's sister had died, and he'd left the ring to care for his sister's kids. While the WWE reportedly told Brown he could return at any time, he retired from the ring. As of 2017, Brown was living in Saginaw, Michigan, where he now works as a personal trainer at his Alpha One fitness facility. He also contributed to a clothing line known as Scripture Clothing. Number 4. Matt Striker. School teacher and aspiring wrestler Matt Striker risked his job as a school teacher to take gigs as a wrestler, reportedly calling in sick so he could appear in the squared circle. While this eventually caught up with him and the school fired him, he landed himself in the WWE, working on Raw with his gimmick of a cruel school teacher who mocked the fans and wrestlers' intelligence. Eventually, Striker landed on ECW, working as part of ECW's New Breed. Though he was a capable wrestler, Striker's true calling turned out to be his role as a colour commentator, where he called matches on ECW and eventually SmackDown. His commentary duties continued until 2013, when he was let go. In a 2013 interview, he discussed his departure. "That was my dream job. I had no business being in the WWE for as long as I was there. I learned so much from all of them. I always loved wrestling. I always loved the WWE. They gave me a chance when no one else would. I love this. I love what WWE does. I love what Japan does. I don't have much else in this world. I never have. The only thing that gave me passion was wrestling and the WWE. Now, I have to find something else to fill that void." The talented striker quickly filled that void, finding work as a commentator for indie promotions such as Family Wrestling Entertainment and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. In 2014, Striker began calling matches in English for Lucha Underground, alongside Vampiro. With his announcing credentials firmly established, Striker finds himself in high demand, calling commentary in English for promotions such as AAA and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Number 5. Kevin Thorne. The WWE's ECW aired on the Sci-Fi Channel, which meant there were some bizarre characters reportedly used to tie in with their demographics. One such character was Kevin Thorne, who played a vampire-like character alongside the lovely Ariel. Wrestling legend has it that Thorne was to be paired with Attitude Era vampire Gangrel, but those plans fell through, leaving Thorne to be put into the New Breed faction, where he served as the group's enforcer. Thorne floundered in ECW and was sent back to the WWE's developmental territories in Ohio Valley Wrestling and Florida Championship Wrestling, only to be released. He hit the indie circuit, focusing on Europe's wrestling scene. The former Mordecai credits his longtime friend Billy Gunn with helping him get back into shape. Number 6. Ariel. Thorne's luscious valet Ariel quickly caught the attention of male viewers on ECW, reading tarot cards to add to her mystique. Unfortunately, Ariel, real name Shelly Martinez, didn't last long, and in a 2013 interview, she stated why she feels she was let go. "Batista and I had an aggressive conversation backstage, and he said something that was unnecessary and uncalled for. If it was outside of wrestling, I'm pretty sure it could have been a legal problem for both Batista and WWE. But this is wrestling, and it's a man's business, so I fired back, and they fired me. I was just a vampire girl in the fake ECW. He was Batista, and they wanted to accommodate him." Martinez jumped to TNA, where she worked as Shelly Martinez, working from 2007 to 2008 and popping up in 2016 for TNA's one night only Knockouts Knockdown 4. Since then, Martinez has maintained a presence on the indie circuit, appeared in softcore porn films, pin-up films, and the reality show The Search for the Next Elvira. Number 7. Zombie. The WWE's ECW revival launched on the 13th June 2006 on Sci-Fi, with one segment epitomizing the entire relaunch and how it was a lifeless reanimation of a once magnificent promotion. Since the show aired on a cable station devoted to sci-fi and horror programming, it's believed some officials in the WWE decided to throw the network a bone by including a sci-fi themed character. Thus, a zombie appeared, before getting beat down by ECW original, the Sandman. Wrestling lore has it that WWE originally wanted to have Sandman beat up a Martian character, but Sci-Fi vetoed the idea. However, what of the wrestler who played the zombie? The zombie was played by Tim Roberts, also known as Tim Arson, a wrestler from Puerto Rico's World Wrestling Council who parlayed his one night only appearance as the zombie into subsequent bookings as said character on the indie circuit, reportedly even being booked for Halloween parties. While Roberts' in-ring career slowed down, he also taught at Johnny Rod's wrestling school. Sadly, Roberts passed away unexpectedly on the 7th of January 2015 at the age of 38. Number 8. Brandon Walker. TNA star Wildcat Chris Harris rose to fame in the tag team America's Most Wanted, with some fans seeing him as more talented than his AMW teammate James Storm. When Harris came to the WWE, they repackaged him as Brandon Walker and put him in ECW, only to become one of the biggest flops in wrestling history. With his pudgy physique, Walker looked as if he was auditioning for The Biggest Loser and worked his matches with all the energy of an octogenarian waiting for a heart transplant. This didn't impress the WWE, and he was gone in weeks. In a 2016 interview, Harris took the WWE to task for their treatment of him. "For the first few months, I wasn't on TV at all, but they treated me great. Once they started me on TV, I had a meeting with the producers and the writers. We had something really good planned. I pulled out a gimmick that was very similar to the Shield. I was going to debut like a bounty hunter gimmick. Next thing I know, they shut it out and put me there as Brandon Walker, and it pretty much flopped. It was flat. How could people care? Harris hit the independent circuit before returning to TNA briefly in 2011. And number 9, Mike Knox. Mike Knox's size and imposing look led to an initial push on ECW where he played the role of Kelly Kelly's kayfabe boyfriend, with his jealousy driving him to try and keep her from dancing during her Extreme Expose segment. For whatever reason, Knox's push was short-lived and he became glorified enhancement talent. Trips to Raw and SmackDown didn't see much improvement for Knox's career, and in 2010, he was released. Knox worked in the independents as well as a run in TNA, performing as Nux for the heel faction Aces and Eights, and later in the group, the Menagerie. In 2016, a story surfaced that Knox had been invited back to the company, with Knox reportedly saying, "I'm 38 years old. My body isn't capable of being a full-time WWE wrestler anymore like it was back in 2006, 10 years ago. I like the idea of being on the independent scene, mainly because I get to pick the dates I want to work." However, the story came from a fake Twitter account, adding to the confusion. Well guys, there you have it, WWE ECW Wrestlers, and where they are now in 2018. Were there any we left out, apart from CM Punk of course? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.